We have landed today in a document stack that is, well, it's essentially the future blueprint for digital transformation at the Transportation Security Administration.
It really is.
This isn't just about scanning bags faster. I mean, this is about redesigning the entire nervous system of a critical federal agency.
It's a huge undertaking. What we're looking at here is a foundational modernization of the TSA's entire operational world, and the documents make it clear the stakes could not be higher.
Absolutely. So today, our deep dive is into the TSA's massive IT initiative, which is called TALON. That's TALON.
Technology for Applications, Logistics, Operations, and Networks.
Exactly. And we've pulled together the draft statement of objectives for the TALON blanket purchase agreement and, maybe even more importantly, the special notice that governs how vendors can even get access to the sensitive information.
And that sensitivity is what just immediately jumps out.
Hmm.
I mean, the main document, the SOO, it's marked acquisition-sensitive information on, like, every other page. This isn't your typical federal contract. It's a signal that the strategic and technical details are, vital to national security. They have to be guarded fiercely, even before anyone wins the bid.
So our mission today is to give you the shortcut to understanding all this. We want to unpack the strategic goals, identify the specific cutting-edge technologies they're demanding. We're talking everything from cloud to AI, and then reveal just how intense the security requirements are.
And to set the stage, you just have to appreciate the scale here. The TSA operates this hugely complex, mission-critical environment. It's not just IT, it's operational technology, or OT, as well.
What does that actually mean, OT?
Think about all the screening machines, the sensors, the physical infrastructure at an airport. That's OT. So they're serving around 80,000 internal users, plus all the systems that support aviation, maritime, surface transportation.
Wow.
So TALON isn't just a small upgrade. It's about architecting systems that are resilient, scalable, and have to work perfectly 24/7 across the entire country.
Okay, so let's start with the structure of the contract itself, the why behind TALON. It's defined as a blanket purchase agreement, a BPA, which is for acquiring robust engineering and technical services.
And here's the crucial detail, the thing that really defines the whole program. TALON is specifically for the engineering, integration, testing, implementation, and transition services.
So it's the build part.
It's the build part, exactly.
So if TALON builds the system, who runs it?
Not them. The document is crystal clear that the operation and maintenance of the IT domains is not within the scope of this contract.
Okay, so TALON is the builder and the installer, and then they have to hand off the keys to a completely separate operations and maintenance contractor.
And that's where the strategic risk is. It tells you a lot about how they manage big projects. They're deliberately separating the innovation, the modernization work from the day-to-day grind.
That must require insane levels of communication and documentation to make sure nothing breaks during that handoff.
Meticulous. Or systems could fail right in that transition phase.
So why this massive modernization right now? What's the driver?
At the end of the day, it's all about the threats. The SOO says it's the constantly evolving sophistication and complexity of threats to our transportation security.
So just reacting isn't enough anymore.
No. They need technology, they need data, and they're specifically calling for the responsible use of AI to anticipate and get ahead of those threats.
They call this their long view, right? The 5 big IT strategic mission goals.
Yeah, and they're ambitious. They range from supporting risk-based security to, and this one is interesting, transforming to a customer-centric business model.
For a security agency, that's a huge cultural shift.
It is. Then you have empowering decision-making with tech, embedding cybersecurity, and evolving the workforce. Those are the big picture goals.
But the immediate focus, the stuff vendors will actually be building, that's in the 8 CIO priorities.
That list is a clear roadmap.
Okay.
You've got digital transformation, which is all about cloud scalability.
Yeah.
You have Microsoft 365 and mobile device management for the modern workplace.
Standard stuff so far.
Right. Cybersecurity, of course. But 2 things really stand out. First, data operations, which is a total modernization of their data strategy.
And second,
The dedicated push for operational technology, that OT integration.
connecting all those old sensors and screening machines to a new cloud backbone, that sounds like a nightmare.
It is. And they're also prioritizing connectivity, using things like satellite and cellular and mobility, so the workforce isn't tied to a desk.
Yeah.
And of course, the big one, artificial intelligence integration.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts then, the technological scope. When you look at the functional areas of work they're asking for, it's It's not one contract. It feels like a whole portfolio.
It's exhaustive. They need core infrastructure engineering across everything. Servers, apps, networks, hosting platforms. They need contractors who can do it all seamlessly.
And the requirement for architectural diversity just adds this huge layer of complexity. It specifically calls for engineering on-prem, hybrid, and multi-cloud.
And that's the reality of modernization today, isn't it? It's easy to say go to the cloud, but critical government data often has to stay on-premise.
So you need a vendor who can make a system where, say, Amazon, Azure, and a government data center all work together flawlessly.
Exactly. The engineering challenge to make them all communicate securely is just immense.
And security, of course, is baked in from day one. They call for strict security engineering.
Yeah, which means building security in from the design phase, not bolting it on later. We see requirements for incorporating DHS policies and critically performing POA&M remediation.
Let's pause on that jargon. POA&M plan of action and milestones. What does requiring remediation actually mean in practice?
It means they're not just finding security holes and writing a report. They need a defined, measurable plan to fix every single one that their engineering work creates or exposes. It's total responsibility.
And it all has to align with their identity and access management systems.
Right, which is how they control who gets to see what.
Okay, so beyond the foundation, the biggest lift here seems to be the modernization and migration piece.
Oh, absolutely. This is where they pay down all the technical debt. We're talking architecture redesigns, refactoring old apps, and huge cloud migrations. This is all about decommissioning the old stuff and moving to the new digital core.
And what about the communication stack? For an agency as spread out as the TSA, connectivity is everything.
It's comprehensive. They need engineering to integrate cellular, Wi-Fi, voice over IP, video conferencing, collaboration tools like Teams and WebEx.
And this has to work across both the normal office IT and that rugged operational technology environment.
Instantly and securely at every single airport and transportation hub. The need for rock-solid, secure integration is obvious.
I want to zero in on the one area that feels the most forward-looking: artificial intelligence and machine learning.
They're being very pragmatic about it. The goal is to only use AI and ML where it delivers, and I'm quoting, clear, measurable mission value and efficiency gains.
So no AI for AI's sake.
Exactly. And their initial use cases tell you where they see the value. Anomaly detection, finding things that don't belong, predictive maintenance for equipment, and automating things like document processing and workflows.
But they're also really clear about the guardrails. They require something called MLOps, machine learning operations, for version control. Why is that so important for a security application?
Well, think about it. If an AI model suddenly starts flagging the wrong things as threats, or worse, misses a real threat, you need to be able to instantly know which version of the model failed.
And roll it back.
And roll it back to the last stable version and then audit what happened. It can't be a black box.
Right.
The solutions have to have privacy, security, and auditability built in from the very beginning.
Building all this requires just intense oversight. So let's shift to the compliance and scheduling rules, starting with accessibility.
Right. We are talking about Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act. It's federal law. It says all technology procured by the government has to be accessible to people with disabilities.
And the SOO is very specific on how they have to prove that, isn't it?
Extremely. Conformance has to be validated using standards like WCAG 2.0. But the key for vendors is that the testing must be done by DHS certified trusted testers using a very specific methodology.
So you can't just check a box. You need certified people running specific tests.
It's a very rigorous process to make sure new dashboards or tools don't accidentally exclude some of their own employees.
And what about keeping this massive 5-year project on schedule? How do they manage that?
Accountability is built right in. All contractors have to integrate their tasks into something called the Resource Loaded Integrated Master Schedule, or RLIMS.
Which sounds like more than just a simple project plan.
Oh, it is. It's the TSA's way of being able to prove to Congress, or anyone really, exactly where every single dollar and every hour of labor is going at any given moment. It is the ultimate layer of control.
That transparency, that control, it brings us right to the most intimidating part of this whole thing: navigating the sensitive information.
The acquisition-sensitive warnings were just the beginning. The real high barrier to entry is the process you have to go through just to access the sensitive security information, or SSI, that you need to write a good proposal.
And that SSI is kept in a virtual reading room, a VRR. What does a company have to do to even get the keys to that room?
The vetting is incredibly stringent. First, the main vendor, the prime, has to designate one single senior corporate official who has to personally recertify that they're following all the data protection rules every 60 days.
Wow, every 2 months.
Yep. And the company has to provide a detailed data protection plan before a single person gets to see anything.
Okay, but then it gets even tighter on the people, which seems like an immediate bottleneck.
It is the bottleneck. The entire vendor team, so that's the prime contractor, any subcontractors, any joint venture, is strictly limited to submitting a list of no more than 3 individuals for access.
Wait, 3 people. For a multi-billion-dollar modernization effort, a giant company can only have 3 people look at the plans.
3 people. That's it. That one rule dictates your entire bidding strategy.
Because those 3 people have to understand everything, define the entire technical approach, and manage all the security risk for their whole company.
And those 3 people have to pass a security threat assessment, an STA, which includes criminal history and terrorism database checks.
Right.
If you fail, you're out. And there's no appeal.
No appeal.
None. They say it's because of the time-sensitive nature of the acquisition.
The ultimate control mechanism, though, and maybe the most significant thing we found, is the non-disclosure agreement.
It's absolute. Any of those 3 people granted access has to sign a specific DHS non-disclosure agreement that binds them indefinitely.
Indefinitely. So forever.
Forever. It doesn't matter if you quit the next day, change careers, go work for another agency. You are legally bound by that TSA NDA for the rest of your life.
That just shows the extreme level of operational detail they're trying to protect.
And if you fail to comply, you don't just get a fine. The source material says all SSI has to be returned and verified by the government before they even start evaluating proposals. If you don't get it all back to them,
You're disqualified.
you're completely ineligible for consideration. It is a very, very powerful incentive to follow the rules.
So when you pull this all together, what does it all mean? TALON is so much more than an IT contract. It's a comprehensive, multi-layered, 5-year mission to digitally transform the TSA's core.
And it embeds accountability through that master schedule. It mandates technologies like AI. It requires strict adherence to accessibility law. And it wraps the entire thing in security protocols so demanding that only a handful of indefinitely bound people per company can even see the plans.
This deep dive really shows that modern government tech contracts are these legally complex ecosystems. You have to innovate, you have to do the cloud migration, the AI, but all of it has to happen inside this rigid framework of compliance, security, and accountability.
The fact that just getting access to the bidding material requires an indefinite NDA and a security threat assessment. It proves that the rules of engagement are just as critical as the technology itself.
And it leaves you with this provocative thought, doesn't it? The TSA wants AI for efficiency, for predictive maintenance, but to even start building it, they have to filter their entire partner ecosystem through these intense security checks and that 3-person bottleneck. So how does that necessary tension between the need for speed and the reality of deep security clearances ultimately shape which innovative solutions the government can actually deploy and how quickly they can do it? What kind of innovation thrives when trust is the most valuable commodity of all?